Okay. Very good morning, guys. Not unmuted. Good morning, all of you. Yeah. Um, so last day we just been discussed about how to connect to the database, how to connect to our data sources, and the different ways to connect. I just shown you how to connect by using ODBC, how to connect by using ODBC, OLDB, and framework providers. And what we said, framework providers can be used only for Oracle and SQL Server. Otherwise, what you can just use is only what otherwise what you can use is only ODBC, OLDB providers. Okay, framework providers comes into action only for Oracle and SQL, not for other things. Okay, so fine. So all the three options we have been discussed, and finally we stopped with execution of the statements. To execute the statements, we just require to take the help of a class, and the class what you just require to take the help is here command. The class that you require to take the help is going to be the command class. Command is the class what you just require to use as a help now. Okay, now. Okay, so the question now is how to use this particular command class and connect it to the data source. How to use the command class and connect it to the data source. That's where we just execute statements on the data source using a command class and executing the statements on the data source. Okay, so fine. I'll tell you how you are going to use the command class now. We'll learn about that in detail today. What are the three methods of the command class I explained? What are the three methods of the command class what I explained? First one, execute reader. First one is execute reader. Second one, execute scalar. The second one is going to be execute scalar. Third one, execute non-query. Execute non-query. So when to use execute scalar? Execute scalar. I did not get the answer correctly. Execute scalar. When should I use execute scalar? Single value, not single statement. A single value select statement. When you want to execute a single value select statement, then you should use execute scalar. Are you clear? So for executing single value select statements, we just require to take the help of execute scalar. Execute non-query. Execute non-query. What statements? Insert, update, and delete statements. When you just need to execute insert, update, and delete statements, then we go for using execute non-query. Execute non-query is to execute what? Select statements. Insert, update, and delete means anything other than select. Did you understand? Anything other than select, we just require to use execute non-query. Execute reader. Come on, execute reader. For multi-value select statement. So multi-value select statement. If at all you wanted to execute any multi-value select statement, then we just go for using execute reader. Then we go for using execute reader. Okay, that is the statement what we just use. Fine. So these are the various methods that are available and how to use them. Okay, today we'll try practicing all those things. So today let's try practicing all the appropriate things. Okay. So fine, this is where we stopped at sending the request to the data source for execution. The properties, the methods. Yeah, the properties, the methods, and third one, constructors. All the three properties, methods, and constructors. All three I shown you. Okay, explained you. I did not show you practically. And basically, I'll show you today how to use all those things practically. But a minute, to practice them, guys. Yeah, to practice all these things, we need a set of tables actually. We don't have a database. We don't have a database also. We don't have a database actually. Do we? We did not create any database of our own. So let's start from here. What we are creating a database first. Let's create a database first. And after creating the database, let's also go for looking how to execute the things. Okay, I'll first start from there, creating a database. Uh, tables are there in the bottom, I said. Huh? Just a minute, all of you. Just a second, please. Yesterday, I said you create some tables, right? Where are they? The end we have. Don't have the tables. Hold on a second. I just updated of the notes, I think. Error trying to open. Shit. Try one. All sync to OneDrive.
Uh,
What happened to this folder?
admin OneDrive. Uh,
What you'll do is just simply, I'll put it in the notes actually. Copy this. Open your management studio. So this is going to first create your database called CSDB. Okay, in the CSDB, it will create a set of tables. First table is DEPD table, and it is a parent table like with the primary key constraint on it, D name and location. Mhm. Yeah, that's the first table. What is that? DEPD table, department number, department name, and location are the three columns with some rows inserted. Next we have a EMP table. Employee number is a primary key column. Employee name, job, manager, hire date, salary, commission, department number. Department number is a foreign key column. Referring to the department table, parent and tables here. These two are parent child tables. Okay. And some records into it. And also one more table I created with the name called as SalGrid. So just go for executing it. And once you're there, CSTB.
Maybe just creating the problem. Where the tables are there now. There's already an object named DPT in the database. Is it creating a master?
Just a minute. Just a second. I'll tell you how to run that. Just a second, please. Okay. Yeah. First, it has created your database called as CSDB, and under the CSDB, it created the tables also. So where DEPT is a parent table and EMP is a child table. SalGrid is independent of itself, no relation with any table. Okay. So just I will update the notes. You can just copy paste it. That's all. Okay, as it is, copy this and you can paste it over there. So once you copy paste, it'll create you all the necessary tables and everything for you on this. Okay, for practice purpose, I'm just going to create these sample tables on the database. Okay, we are done. Now let's see, let's just do, try some examples now, and we'll try performing some querying, inserting, updating, and deleting all the operations. Okay. Okay. Fine. So there's a script code here. I'll upload the notes and just you can copy paste it and it will create you all the things too. Now I want to start from here. The first example, what I just wanted to show you is, let's add a new Windows form in the project. Let us add a new Windows form in the project and design it like this. Which table I'm targeting? Department table. I'm targeting the department table, guys. Is that clear? So just we created three tables. We're targeting the department table. So we'll see how to work with this. Okay. So first, I'm placing a label on the top to show the title. What is it? Department details. Now, below this, I just wanted to add few more labels and text boxes. So I have three columns in the table, right? Department name, department ID, department name and location. Okay, so there are three columns here. One is department number, second one is department name, and third one is location. There are the three columns. And to load the three, I just place you three text boxes also. Yeah, three text boxes also placed. And then we'll also add some labels on this now. We'll just add some, buttons on this. What we have is only two buttons, I think, just two buttons. Next button, close button. Yeah. Next button and a close button. Okay, let's just give a name for this button. Okay, what is this? This is the next button, and the name is BTN next, and this is a close button, BTN close. Okay, and this text boxes. First text box, what's it? TXT department number. TXT department name. TXT location. Okay, and also labels. The names are label 1, label 2, label 3. Names basically you leave it or change the names. Basically labels we don't use in our code anywhere. Labels we don't use in our code anywhere. If at all you just want to give a meaningful name, you can just give a name. LBL DPT number. LBL, what is that? D name. And LBL location. Is that clear? If you don't give the names, label 1, label 2, label 3, text box 1, text box 2, text box 3. Nothing. Fine. Now we just created our table here. The table is ready. We just have the table. All of you, what I want to do, when I run my form, when I run my particular form. So basically, I'm going to run the form. When I run the form, initially, the first time when I run my form, what has to happen, this has to now connect it to the database. It has to connect it to the database. And the first record of the table should be loaded into the text boxes. We have 4 records in the table. The first record of the table should be loaded into the text boxes. Did you understand the requirement? Afterwards, I'll click on the next button and go to my next records in the table. Close button should close the connections and close the data, close the form also, everything. Here, label names has to come now. These label names also I want to load from database only. Did you understand? The label names also I want to load from database only. From the database only I want to load the label names also, and the values also want to load from database. Everything from database. Okay, let's see how to write the code. And to write the code, what is the best option? The best option is using using ODBC, ODB SQL client. Last class I showed you all three options to you. Which one is the best one? Which one is faster, Visa? SQL client. So let us use that only. So first step, import the namespace system.data.sql client. Okay. Step 2. What do? You need to declare all the classes that are required for you in execution. What classes are required for you? I need one connection class. Declare, that's all. I need one command class to execute the statements. I need one data reader class to capture the results. See, execute reader, we have multi-row select statement, execute reader. What is written right? Data reader. So I'm declaring one data reader. All the three I declared. Okay, now? Now come to load event. When the form loads, what I want in the form loads, I'm writing con is equals to new SQL connection. Write the connection string here. Come on, tell me what the connection string. Data source is server. What is the database? What is the user ID? And what is the password? Password is 123. Password is 123. User ID and the password. Is that clear? User ID and the password. Just got it. Next, what? The command class. Command CMD is equals to new SQL command. Command requires two parameters. First parameter, the statement it has to execute. What statement you want to execute? A select statement. Department number, department name, location. From which table? From DEPT table. From the DEPT table, order by department number. Just we are going to arrange it in the order by department number. Second parameter is the instance of the connection. Connection and command should be bound with each other here. Command can execute the statement, but by taking the help of the connection. So both should be bound with each other. So the second parameter is connection. Okay, now? What next? Con.open. This will establish a connection. What will this do? Establishes the connection. That is going to establish the connection, okay? Okay, this establishes the connection. And once the connection is established, what I want to do? I want to execute the statement and load the data. I want to execute the statement now. How to execute the statement? CMD dot, call the method which is suitable now. What is the method? Execute reader. What will this do? Executes the statement now. What is the next step? Capture the result. Are you clear? And remember, if a method returns a string, we capture a string variable. If a method returns an integer, we capture integer variable. What this method returns? Yesterday I said you. What is the return type of the method? Data reader, not object. Why object? Object is one value, but that for execute scalar. The return type is in the tool it is present. What is return type? Reader. So need to declare a reader variable. Already on the top you declared a reader variable. See, tr is equals to. So what will this do? You know, this will execute the SQL statement and loads, and data gets captured in data. This executes the SQL statement and data gets captured in data reader. So where is the data? Where is your data now? It is in the data reader. It is in the data reader. Are you clear? So the data is now present in the data reader. Now the question is, how to access the data from the data reader? The next question is how to access the data from the data reader. From this data reader, how do we access the data? From this particular data reader, how do we access the data? That is our next thing what we require to learn. Accessing data from a data reader. Accessing data from data reader. See guys, What is data reader? Data reader is a class. Data reader is a class which can hold the data, which can hold the data, which can hold the data in the form of rows and columns. In the form of rows and columns. To access data from data reader, to access data from data reader, it provides the following members in it. Every class will give you a set of members to work with it now. So this class also is going to give you a set of members to work with the data reader. So what are the members of the data reader class I need to use now to work with the data reader? What are the members of the data reader class I need to use to work with the data reader? Okay, let's try to understand about it. Okay, first guys, data reader will hold you the data in which format? Tabular format, rows and columns. Okay, so initially when you load the data into the data reader, all of you have a look. When you load the data into the data reader, all of you concentrate on this. How many records? 4 records, right? 3 columns. This is how the data reader is present. Understood? And to access the data from this data reader, it provides a pointer. It provides a pointer. Where is the pointer? The pointer is by default pointing to a location called before first. Are you clear? And same way we have after last also there. Before first, after last. These are the two different locations what we have. And the pointer is now pointing to what? Before first. It's pointing to before first. And now you want to access the data now. Okay. So, and what is it? This is the data reader. And these are the members of the data reader now. These are all the members of the data reader. Now see, the first one is a method. What is the method? By calling this method, you can get the column name by passing the index position. You pass the index position, you get the column name here. Return type string. Return type is string. Okay. So guys, watch. I'm writing the code now. What? LBL department number dot text is equals to LBL department number dot text is equals to what is that? Dr dot get name of the index position 0. Is it clear? I'm passing the index now. Now LBL department name dot text is equals to dr dot get name of 1 and LBL location dot text is equals to dr dot get name of 2. We did not set the startup form. Yeah, we're just getting it actually. Resolution issue. So resolution issue, yeah, don't bother about the screen outputs. It's a resolution issue, that's all. When I run, it is running in a big scaling. That's why you're not getting it properly. You to make it visible, I'm setting the resolution. Okay, you will be getting it properly. Don't bother about the sizes and all. Yeah. See now the label. Okay. What are all the column names? See? Yes or not? You're just getting all the column names here. Okay. So all the column names are coming for you in this place. Okay. So basically we are getting the column names because we don't have the column names. Because we don't have column names, we are getting the column names. So here, these labels I just given a name for it. So better leave the name as label 1, label 2, label 3 only. Better leave the names of the controls as label 1, label 2, and label 3. And why you're loading this from the database? Because we don't know the column names, we're just loading it from here. So let us leave it as label 1, label 2, label 3 only. Okay. Yeah, we got the column names here. Is it clear, everyone? And here what should come? Data should come. The data has to come there now. I think I set the doc top. I set it as doc top, and I just text aligned in the center so that I'll get in the middle. You know already doc top. Yeah, leave it. So you can just get the column names now. What next? The column values. I want to get the column values. See, we have a method called get name. What is your column name? Same way we have an option called get value also here. Get value is there now. Are you getting my point here? There is an option called as get value. Okay. So just now let's think like we don't have the column values also. We don't have the column names. See, we don't have the column names. And because we don't have the column names, we are loading all the things. Suppose if I don't have column values also, then I don't know the column values. When I don't know the names, I cannot set the names to the controls now. Array, just assume we don't know the column names. I cannot set the names to controls. So I'm leaving the name as text box 1 only. I'm just leaving the same names. Okay. Now, how to get the value text box? 1 dot text is equals to dr dot. But return dot get value is object here, not string. Why? Department number is not string. Department number is not string. So that's a return type is object. It will get you in the object format. So call toasting. Next. Text box 2 dot text is equals to dr dot get value of 1 dot toasting. Text box 3 dot text is equals to dr dot get value of 2 dot toasting. Is it clear all of you? Understood the two methods? Run. Get name is not giving error, but get value is giving error here. Got an error here. What the error say? No data is present, it is selling. Why no data? We have data now. You have data, but you're pointing to a location. What is that location? The location what you're pointing is before first. Understand that. That's what I already said you. Where is the pointer? The pointer is at before first. Because the pointer is at before first, there's no data there now. So now you want to access the first record. The pointer will come to first record. Afterwards, second record. Afterwards, third record. Afterwards, means you need to move the pointer to each record. If you want to move the pointer to each record, then you're required to call this method. Which method? Read method. The second method, read. What will it do? It will move the pointer from the current location to next row. And the return type of the method is Boolean C. The return type of the method is Boolean. What is that? It will move there and tell you data existing or not. It will move there and tell you data is existing. Why? Say suppose you are the fourth record. You call read. You will come to after ask data existing or not existing? Not existing. Array, you are at fourth record. You're calling read. Where will you come? Where will you come? Look at the picture. After ask, no data. When I try to access now, when there is no data and I try to access, that will come now. So that is why it is just trying to give you a Boolean telling you data existing or not existing. So when should I try to access? When the read returns true only, I should access. When the read returns true only, I should access. So here, what I'm writing, dr dot read first. The pointer comes to first record. Then I'm trying to access the values. Watch it, see. Got it? Now you click on the next button. It should take you to next record. How to take to next record? Same here, call read, takes to next record. Again, read, takes to next record. Means on the next button, all of you carefully listen. On the next button, what should I do? I should call read, go to next record. Read, next record. So copy this. Paste the same code here. Run again. First time, the load event will load here. Next time. Are you clear? Code duplication. Code duplication here is a code duplication. To avoid this code duplication, I want to write a method and I want to call that method in both the two places. See now, I'm writing one method now. What is the method? Load data. Any name here, your choice. Put the code here. So that I don't require to write here and write here again. Simply what I'll do? I'll call load data here and I'll call load data here. Is that clear? Run. See guys, now you're going to face the problem now. What problem? When you call next, you'll go after last. And in the next line, you're trying to capture the records. Same error will come. What is the error? You already saw the same error message. No data present. So how to avoid this? To avoid this only, it returns that Boolean value here. What you'll do, if tr.read means if true, then only execute the code. Is it clearer or not? If true, then only execute the code. Now run and see. If it is true only, you will be getting the data. See now, no error. But some message to user to make him understandable. Else, message box.show you are at the last record, at the last record of table. You are the last record of table, and this is for your information message. Message box dot OK and message box icon dot information icon. Run. You are the last record of the table. Are you clear? And now close button. What the close button has to do? What the close button has to do? When you click on the close button, first it has to close the connection and afterwards it has to close the form. How to close the connection? Con dot closed will close the connection and this dot will close this. Are you clear? If you, before closing the connection, if at all you want to perform a check, what check? The connection is not open or the connection is not closed. Then, see, the connection is not closed, then only I want to close. Did you understand? Actually, on dot state, you know this now? Basically, it's a enumerated property. It is a enumerated property. There are 6 connection states actually. There are 6 connection states actually. What are connection states? Connection state dot watch. Broken. What is broken? The connection to the data source is broken. This can occur only after the connection has been opened. Or a connection opened here, for some reason it got broken. A connection in this state may be closed and then reopened. And right now, there is no implementation for this value. There is no implementation. See, what is it showing you? This value reserved for the future version of the product. Right now, the value is present here, no implementation for this. Okay, next, closed. You know, closed. Connecting. The connection object is connecting now. It is taking time here. When you open the connection, maybe a remote database may be busy, maybe not responding. Some time it takes now. That is what connecting is. Executing. What is executing? The connection object is executing, means connection established here, but now the statement is executing. And this also doesn't have an implementation. See? Reserved for future versions. What next? Fetching. Fetching here, fetching the data. This is also reserved for future versions. 2 or 3 values whose are reserved for future versions. Only implementation is present for 3. What are the 3? Open, close, broken. If it is broken, what to close and reopen? Are you clearer or not? Okay. So close and reopen. So generally not mandatory, but for safe side, when you're writing the code, how do you write? You know, if con dot state, okay, not equal to, I'm sorry, if con dot state not equal to connection state dot closed, if the state of the connection is not closed, then con dot close. That's a good practice of writing the code. Right now, there is no issue if you don't write also because we don't have implementation. But in the future, if when you have the implementation for all these particular things, when to close the connection is a big question there. If the state of the connection is not closed means might be open, might be broken, might be connecting, might be fetching, might be executing. In any of this particular state, close of the connection. Why? Because I'm closing my form. When I close my form, there is no point of maintaining the connection anymore now. Is it clear? And finally, con dot close. That is the code. Okay. Now, you observe when I start, it loads the data. Click on the next button, will take you to next records. Yeah, when I click on the close, automatically the form is closed. Is that clearer, all of you? Yes or not? Actually, in this example, I just given the code to connect to Oracle here. That's why I changed it. Because Oracle, all of you may not be having Oracle. Earlier, most of the people used to practice in the lab. Earlier, before COVID, mostly all the people used to go and practice in the lab. Oracle is there, SQL is there, everything. So they can try for both. I used to show one example in Oracle. But right now, all of you are just practicing on your home only. So for that reason, Oracle again, without installing Oracle on your machines, and changed all my examples to SQL. Anyhow, SQL is also important. Only one example only I showed them also with Oracle also, not multiple examples. But this one, that's why first what did I do? I created all the tables and now I shown you this example working with which database? Oracle database. Is that clear? And first you design the form like this and then start writing the code. Okay. See, I will upload the notes if anyone has a printed notes. If anyone has a printed notes for you, just for that, just what you'll do is wherever you have SQL code, change the code to Oracle. That's it. Sorry, wherever you have Oracle code, change the code to SQL. I'm sorry. So first step, import your namespace. Second step, declarations. All the declarations should be done now. What are the three? One connection, one command, and one data reader. Next in the load event. In the load event, what do you do? You're creating a connection object, you're creating a command object, establishing the connection, executing the SQL statement, and loading the data into the data reader. Into the data reader. Then you defined your own method. One method is defined. What is the method? Load data. The complete code is there, guys, in the notes. Just the only thing is the code will be presented to Oracle. In Oracle, we have it, but just to change it to SQL. That's all. That's what I'm telling. Okay, then you have which one? Next button. What is the code in next button? Code in next button is simply our one line. Call what? Load data. And then you have code in close button. In the close button, what did I say? Check the connection and close it. That's it. Yeah. That is the code for your close button. Did you understand the code? Did you guys understand the code? Yes or not? So what are you doing? You're first importing the namespace SQL client. You're first importing the namespace SQL client. And once after importing the namespace SQL client, the second step is declaring the required declare classes what you want. Go for a global declaration so that I can use them throughout my class. Go for a global declaration. Okay, fine. What next? The next step is the next step what you're required to do is code and load event. You're required to write the code and the load event. What are you doing in the load event? Yeah, what are you doing? You're first creating a connection object. First, you're creating a connection object. Second, you're creating the command object. Third, you're trying to establish the connection. First time you're doing it, let me write a comment for all. First, create the object of connection class targeting or by providing what? The required connection string. Yeah, you're required to provide the connection string now. What is the second step? Create the object of command class by passing an SQL statement and connection instance created above. You created the connection instance above. Okay. Next, con.open. What will happen? Connection is established. Next, you are calling the method. What is the method? Execute reader loads the data into data reader. What next? Access and assign the column names to label controls. You're accessing and assigning the column names to label controls. How many label controls are there? 3 label controls. We are just going to access and assign. Then you're calling load data. Why? Calling load data method to assign values to text box controls. To assign values to text box controls. Is that clear? And then you have a method. What is the method? Load data. Yeah, guys, just want to explain you one more small thing here. Accessing the data. How to access the values? Get value. Array, access the column names is get name. Access the values is get value. You're just using the get value method. Okay, just a second. A small thing I want to explain you there. To access the values, guys, we are actually provided with the 3 options. There are 3 different ways how you can access the values. Carefully listen. We have 3 different ways how you can access the values. What are the 3 different ways? Get value shown you. The table also, the class also contain indexer. Remember indexer? Indexer will give you array style of access to the values of your class. We define indexers. We have 2 indexers in the class. One is a int indexer and one is a string indexer. You can even use those indexers to get the data. For example, without calling get value, you can directly use dr of 1.to string. What is that? Indexer here, int indexer. Second option, string indexer, dr of column name you can write now. What is the column name? Location dot to string. Like this also we can get the data. So now, did you understand the members? I did not explain you 2 things there. What are the 2 things? Field count. Field count will tell you the number of columns in the table. Field count will tell you the number of columns in the table. Next result. Actually, we have an option of loading multiple tables in the data reader. I'll explain you. When you load multiple tables, the next result will take from one table to another table. Next, read is taking from one record to another record now. Next result will take you from one table to another table. Understood? Field count is to find out number of columns loaded, and next result is to take from one table to another table. Today we loaded only one table, but in the future I'll explain you loading multiple tables. When you load multiple tables, how to navigate from one table to table, we can call the method called as next result. I'll show you that later. Is that clear? But in the notes, I given the description for all the methods, guys. First method is get name. I given a description for that. Second method is read. Third method is get value. Fourth one is indexer, 2 indexers. Next, field count, next result. All the methods I just pointed up there. Clear or not? So try creating the database, try creating the table. The complete code, I'll upload the notes now, and also practice this. In the next example, I'll show you performing insert, update, and delete operations. Insertings, updatings, and deletings. Okay now? Let's stop here.